Today, we're taking Neymar and Gareth Bale and swapping their careers, meaning for the entirety of their time in the sport, they'll be switching places by playing for all of the other teams. All starting with Neymar, who's playing for Southampton in 2006 as Bale's replacement. And while he's considered to be the next big talent, the only thing we care about today is trophies. And over his first few years, Neymar wouldn't be seeing any team success, which brings us to today's challenge, where the two will be competing to see who can win the most trophies, with the cutoff year being the 2021-22 season. With Neymar now playing for Tottenham, a club whose trophy cabinet is quite empty, he already has a roadblock in front of him. And with Spurs finishing 6th in the table, he's still a few years removed from Champions League football. However, in his first year in a new role which saw him transition from a left back to a left wing, his 12 goals and 4 assists were enough to help his team win the Carabao Cup and officially take the lead in this competition. So in this reality, Neymar already does what Bale couldn't in real life, which was win a trophy with Tottenham. If the history of Tottenham is different in this reality, it's mostly because of the playmaking of Modric, who's ending the year with 22 assists, and the goal scoring of Jermaine Defoe, who's winning the Golden Boot. And while this still wasn't enough to win the Premier League, they are getting closer, securing Champions League football for next year, as well as winning the FA Cup against Newcastle. And while there is reason to be optimistic for the upcoming season, the departure of Modric for Real Madrid in the summer transfer window would be a huge blow to the team. And with their biggest playmaker gone, you would have reason to doubt them. However, Neymar is now in his final year with the club and having his best season yet, leading the team in both goals and assists. And while once again he would fall short of the Premier League title, it would be far from a disappointing year, as not only are they taking home the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, they've also managed to make it to the Champions League finals. Spurs had to beat Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, and Juventus, and now face Everton in the finals. That's probably the craziest thing I've ever seen. And with the history of Tottenham clearly being different in this reality, they would take a 1-0 lead and hang on to it until the final whistle, which means Neymar will be leaving England as a Champions League winner and with a clear lead in this competition. Neymar might have the advantage over Bale right now, but this competition is only getting started. Neymar will have the chance to win the Premier League later in the video, but for now, his time in England is up as he'll be headed to Spain to join Real Madrid, where his rivalry with Bale will officially begin. Because after 5 years in Brazil and having won the league twice as well as the CONMEBOL Cup, his eyes are now set on winning the biggest trophies in football. And in order to do that, he needs to play in the best leagues. And that's why he would accept an offer from Barcelona to play alongside Messi. While Bale might not have had as many eyes on him in comparison to Neymar, he would silence everyone who thought he would struggle in the big leagues, as him and Messi are proving to be an elite duo, with Barcelona winning 14 of their first 16 games. And in game week 17, we finally get to see Neymar and Bale go head-to-head for the first time, as Barcelona take on Real Madrid, who have won all 16 of their games. A win here for Barcelona makes the title race interesting, but if they lose, Real Madrid is pretty much winning the league. With the stakes now clearly defined and all the eyes on this game, one player would stand out. That player being Gareth Bale, who had scored the first of 2 Barcelona goals, who together as a team would shut down Real Madrid, handing them their first loss of the year. And while they've now made the title race a bit more interesting, ultimately, at the end of 38 game weeks, it would be another trophy for Neymar. To go undefeated in the league and still not win it is kind of crazy, but there's still one more trophy to play for. With both teams being so dominant, it's no surprise that they would meet in the Champions League finals, which will be the first of many in this video. And if Neymar wants to win the treble, he'll have to do it down 1-0. And while Barca had full control of the game, that would change in the 70th minute. That is the craziest thing I have ever seen. Why would you not kick it out? When we look back at their careers, you have to wonder if that mistake will come back to haunt Bale. Because while this could have been a trophy for him, ultimately it's going to Neymar, as Real Madrid would find a winner in extra time. So that's the treble for Neymar, which also means that's back-to-back UCLs for him because he won it last year as well. And on top of that, he wins the Golden Boot. Him and Ronaldo are going to be a problem. With both teams being so dominant, the question now becomes, can Neymar and Real Madrid repeat this success now that Barcelona has gotten stronger? The answer to that question would be answered in the final game of the year, with Real Madrid 2 points ahead of Barcelona in the standings, and an El Clasico that could flip the table. And while Bale will eventually win the league, Unfortunately, it wouldn't be this year, as Neymar and Real Madrid would win this game convincingly. Neymar and Ronaldo might be a little too much for Barcelona to handle. However, this wouldn't be the last time they met this season, as the Champions League final would be a rematch of last year. So here we are, with Barcelona having a 2-1 lead and a few minutes away from lifting the trophy. But as we've come to expect from Cristiano Ronaldo, he always delivers in clutch moments. It had to be Ronaldo. Of course it did. His teammate in real life potentially stopping him from winning his first Champions League. And just as a reminder, Barcelona were in the same situation last year, blowing a lead which eventually costed them the trophy, but this time would be different, as Barcelona would score late in extra time, hanging on until the final whistle, which means Bale is finally lifting his first Champions League trophy. Barcelona won the Champions League in this season in real life too, so history ends up repeating itself. While Bale might be trailing in this competition, he's about to close the gap, as in the 2015-16 season, Barcelona would go on to win the league, only losing one game and preventing Real Madrid from accomplishing the three-peat. This wasn't the only time Neymar would be denied that accomplishment, because his Champions League campaign would come to a sudden end to a team very familiar to him. If you told me that Neymar and Tottenham would cross paths again and this would be the result, I wouldn't have believed you. With Barcelona still in this competition and their biggest rival out of it, what we need to ask ourselves is, can they make their way back to the finals and go back to back? Because while they are the favorites, Bayern Munich would go toe-to-toe with them in the first leg of the quarterfinals, raising the question, will Robben and Ribéry manage to steal this trophy away from them? Ultimately, the answer to that question would be a resounding no, as Barcelona would silence those doubts with a convincing 3-0 victory in front of the German crowd. At the end of the day, Barcelona is the best team in the world, and while Manchester City did make this final interesting, the result was inevitable, as Suarez finds the back of the net late in the game, and that would be enough to see them lift the trophy. If you find yourself rooting for Neymar, he'll have his own advantages in a couple years, but at the moment, it looks like Bale has the upper hand. The 2016-17 season might be the most important one yet, as Real Madrid is not only looking to bounce back from 2 disappointing years, they're also hoping Barca doesn't win a historic 3rd Champions League in a row, which, as we know, is something Real Madrid did in real life. With all the momentum on Barca's side, it's no surprise that they're in the finals again, but this time, the stakes are as high as they've ever been. Not only are they playing for a historic 3rd Champions League in a row, but they're also playing for the treble, as they've already won both domestic titles. And how fitting would it be that the team trying to stop them from making history is none other than Real Madrid, who have made it back to the finals. And just as it was in their last matchup in the finals 2 years ago, this one would be extremely close, as despite Real Madrid having taken an early lead, as we've come to know with these two teams, when you think you've won, you likely haven't. Suarez might have scored the most important goal of this simulation, and once again, we're headed to extra time. And with the game still tied after the first half of extra time, we might see the first penalty shootout between these two teams, unless someone were to clutch up in the last few moments. 12 minutes left to play. Are we going to see a late game winner here? Rakitic switches the ball to Alba. Into Iniesta. Iniesta finds Suarez. This is looking very dangerous. Rakitic into Messi. They might have done it. Barcelona might have done it. We've seen a few late game equalizers already, but that wouldn't be the case this time around, as Bale would go on to score goal number 3 to secure Champions League number 3. When it's all said and done, a 3rd Champions League in a row, which could have been 4 by the way, to cap off a treble, is an unbelievable accomplishment, and that's going to be talked about. With Barcelona being so dominant, Bale is guaranteed to be winning many more trophies for multiple years to come. Or at least that's how it could have been, as in the 2017-18 season, Barcelona and PSG would agree on the record transfer of Gareth Bale. This was a move, as we know from real life, that didn't quite go as Neymar would have expected. So the challenge for Bale becomes, can he accomplish what Neymar couldn't? That being winning a Champions League with PSG. But before we get to that, let's focus back on Neymar, who after 3 disappointing years is finally back to winning, as he wouldn't only be lifting both domestic trophies, but the Champions League as well. And with Barcelona getting weaker and Real Madrid still having their 3 big stars, Neymar seems to be in a good position to win many more trophies. Or at least that's what he thought, as in the offseason, Ronaldo would be leaving to start a new chapter at Juventus, and while Neymar is one game away from another Champions League final, the issue that he has without Ronaldo is quite apparent. His ability to come in clutch in big games is missing, ultimately resulting in them being eliminated. Neymar's first season without Ronaldo isn't a great one. He does win the Copa del Rey, but the question I see now is, can he win major trophies without Ronaldo? Because if he can't, well, that's another conversation. With Messi still in the prime of his career and having already eliminated one of our stars, how would he do against the other? That being Gareth Bale, who after winning the Ligue 1 title and Europa League last year, now finds himself face to face with his former team in the Champions League finals. I didn't think we would be seeing Bale in the finals this soon, but fair play, he's here. Now the question is he going to fare better than Neymar? There's one important question that will have to be answered in this game, focusing primarily on Bale, who left Messi in Barcelona after a historic treble to try and do it on his own, which makes you wonder if he made the right decision, because with 5 minutes left to play and trailing by a goal, it's looking like he's going to fall short. PSG get the ball back. There's still a little bit of time to equalize, but it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to be perfect here. Bale into Di Maria. Di Maria into Bale. Cavani is in. He needs to score here. We are going to extra time. How many times now in this video? That is some shocking defending from Barcelona. With the game tied at 1 and moments away from extra time, let's focus on the last few minutes with Barcelona in possession of the ball and the greatest player of all time still on the pitch. 2 minutes left to play before extra time. Barca might fancy one last attempt here. Suarez, blocked by Marquinhos. It falls to Messi! He's done it again! With Barcelona winning another Champions League, Bale's decision to leave isn't playing out as he had hoped. And while PSG did win the league again, it's not going to further his legacy. And the same could be said about Neymar, who despite having won the Copa del Rey, hasn't won La Liga or the Champions League since Ronaldo left. While our competition is coming to an end soon, there's still plenty more time for both of them to win more trophies. And with Messi clearly still being a problem for both of them, they'll be getting some help in the offseason. Whatever you think of Hazard, in this reality, he's healthy and in his prime. And as for Bale, his help is coming in the form of a current teammate, that being Mbappe, who at the age of 22 is already playing like one of the best in the world, which is why it's no surprise that once again, PSG would be winning the league and making a run in the Champions League, where Bale and Neymar would cross paths for the first time in a few years. With Neymar still at the top of his game and the history of Real Madrid in this competition, it would be foolish to count them out, and while we're used to seeing close games, this one wouldn't be close, as PSG would win this game convincingly, with Bale having contributed 3 goals and an assist over 2 legs. And to make things short, they would make their way back to the finals, and with the experience from losing last year under their belt and the contributions of Mbappe and Cavani, they would beat Inter Milan convincingly without there even being a doubt. When you think about it, this Champions League might be more important than the previous 3, because it basically invalidates any future conversation that Bale only won because he had Messi by his side. With Bale pulling ahead in total trophy count and 2 more years remaining in this competition, there's not much time left for Neymar to catch up, and the upcoming season would be a strange year for both of them. It starts with Neymar returning to Tottenham on a 1-year loan, and you have to question if this was the right decision, but it's going to depend on which trophies you deem more important, because while he would help Tottenham win the Premier League and the Carabao Cup, they would get knocked out in the UCL semi-finals against PSG, but unfortunately for Bale, his bid for a repeat would fall short to the hands of Real Madrid. It's a strange one because technically it's a great season for Neymar. Wins the Premier League, which was the only title he was missing in England. Also takes home the Carabao Cup, but if he had stayed with Real Madrid, he would have won the treble. And as for Bale, if you're only winning the league, which PSG wins by default, then it's kind of a disappointing year. With this season now behind us, we're now headed into the final year of this competition. Neymar is back with Real Madrid, who now have some new faces in the starting 11, as you have players like Vinicius Jr., Valverde, and Tchouaméni all starting to get regular minutes. As for Bale, he'll be reuniting with Messi, who's just one of many signings PSG made in the offseason to strengthen the squad. The last time these two shared the pitch together, they won the Champions League against Real Madrid, which is important to note because for the final time of this competition, the two will be facing off once again in the finals. Neymar is looking to win Champions League number 4 to tie Bale, while a win for him would give him a 5-3 lead in this competition. While we've seen many matchups between Bale and Neymar over the years, this one would be a lot different. PSG are the younger and more dynamic team, while Real Madrid are older but have the most experience in this competition. Now that you understand the dynamics of this game, you can probably guess where this is headed. For the first time in this competition, we're headed to penalties. As a reminder, this is the last year of our competition, and with PSG winning Ligue 1 and Real Madrid winning La Liga, the total trophy count now stands at 17 for both of them, which means this penalty shootout is the tiebreaker. Bale versus Courtois. Saved by Courtois! Oh my, that's a terrible look for Bale right now. Neymar can't give Real Madrid the lead here. Is Donnarumma gonna read it? He does not. Mbappe with the blue hair. Right down the middle, Courtois dives the wrong way. Alaba up next. Top right. That's a great penalty. Real Madrid with the lead once again. Dembele. Is he going to shoot with the left, right? We don't know. Neither did Courtois. Up next, Cruz. Bottom right. Donnarumma's going to have to save one of these. Messi up next. Oh no, please don't miss Messi. Top right. Keeps this alive. Benzema. Down the middle. A save here. Oh my god, I'm losing my voice. A save here. And Real Madrid win it. Hakimi needs to score. It's good. Bale's 5th Champions League lies in the hands of Donnarumma. Quite literally. Vinicius steps up. Saved by Donnarumma. Oh my days, what a save. Ugarte's up next. What? Bro really chipped it. You are not him. Eder Militao can win it for Real Madrid. It's the post! What is this game? Danilo Pereira's up next. It's good! Valverde needs to score to keep it alive. Sends Donnarumma the wrong way. Up next is Marquinhos. What a shootout. Courtois doesn't dive. That was a very savable penalty. Chouameni's up next. Good penalty. Good penalty. We're tied. Kimpembe. Courtois! It was right in front of him. Ferland Mendy's up next. Sends Gijo the other way. Nuno Mendes. Oh, this is getting dicey. Courtois! What is he doing? Danny Carvalho. Saved by Gijo. PSG win the Champions League. While this wouldn't be Bale's best performance, PSG will be walking away as champions, officially giving Bale his 18th trophy to win this competition over Neymar, who despite this result had an amazing career and should be celebrated. But in this reality, where the two have swapped places, it's Bale in the boots of Neymar who's walking away as the winner.